Welcome back again. Today in this video we're going to discuss about variables, introduction to variables, and in this lesson we are going to learn how to define a variable and how to assign a values to variable and play around the variable. Okay, so let's discuss about what is variable. A variable is the place where we can store the value of a given program. So let's see the definition. Let's dive into the world of variables, the storage locker of programming where we can keep data for later use. So for the future usage of variables, for the values we are using variables to store values. Okay, so let's see how to define a variable. So here, to create a variable you need to give its name and an initial value. Here is a variable called count. Okay, so I am giving an example. Let's take count as a variable and I'm going to assign a value to it. So I assign a value called 4 to this variable, and this 4 is going to store this count variable will act as a box to store the values. Okay, let's consider the variable as a box where we can store the values for running the code. Okay, so in this case I am assigning a value to this variable called count, which is 4, and now I'm going to print I'm going to print count. So let's see the output. So the output is 4. So why it is printing 4? In the sense, here when we are assigning a value to the variable, when you are asking to print the variable, this will act as a storage box, right? So whatever the value we are storing in this variable, it is going to print. Okay, the output is 4, right? So this is how you need to we can use the variables. And I'm going to give one more thing. Count equals to 5, and I'm going to print it once again. So now we'll see the output. Okay, so now we got 4 and 5 as the output. Why? Because here in the first statement count equals to 4, so when we are calling through print function, the value of count is displayed. And again when we are calling the most recent one value is 5, we have stored in the count variable, and again it got called. So this is how whatever the values you are going to assign, you can call it through the print function, and this is how the variable will work as a storage boxes. Now we have some conditions to while defining or initiating the variable. Okay, so this is how I will tell. Variable can also be called as a creating a variable, and to see what's in count, use print. So I told you, right? So to see what is the value present in the variable, you can print it so that you can get to know what is the value that is stored in the count function. For example, I am going to tell you one more thing. Unassigned variables means, so here we can tell about unassigned variables. So be careful with variables you haven't assigned it, or you will get an error. So what does it mean? What does it indicates? In the sense, you cannot call a variable which is not assigned. For example, you assigned a value called 4 to the variable count. Okay, but while calling, you just given as num. Okay, this num, now we'll see what is the output. Okay, so name num is not defined. Why it is coming like this? In any program, whatever the program you are writing, for example, if you get kind of error like this, num is not defined or count is not defined, in that case, in this case count is defined. How? We defining count with 4 value, but num was not defined. We are not assigned any value to num. That's why it is coming as an error. So we cannot print, we cannot call an undefined or unassigned variable to the print function. So this is how it works. And see, while writing the program, we got a error like name num is not defined, right? So one more thing, case matters. Case sensitive, in variables we should follow case sensitivity, like upper versus lower case. In which cases we should use upper and lower cases, I will tell you. So variable names are sensitive to uppercase and lowercase. For example, count and count would be two different variables. Like how I will tell. Here you have given as small c count, right? But while calling, you have given just capital C count. In that case, we'll see whether we are getting the output or not. Definitely, we will not get the output. Okay, both are not same. So in this case, case sensitive will be working. So uh, you should be very active while writing, while taking, or while initiating the variables. Okay, next. So naming rules, how should name the variable? So here your variable names must start with a letter or underscore. From the second character onwards, you can also use numbers. So what it is saying is your variable name must start with a letter or underscore. So here, let's see where I'm giving underscore. We'll see whether it is working or not. Okay, will not work. I had done a mistake here. Sorry. So I'm going to give C as it is. So now we'll see. It will not work because I forgot to give underscore. So now we'll see, it will definitely going to print because we have given the correct format. Next, your variable must start with a letter or underscore, they said, right? So I'm going to start with a 2. Yeah. Okay, got it. So for example, as they have mentioned, one count. Okay, one count is equals to 5. I'm calling one count. We'll see whether it is working or not. So it will definitely not work. Invalid decimal literal. So while initiating the variable, you should follow these two instructions. One you can use underscore, either you can use or you cannot. But you should use this two. Apart from these two, if you use any other letters, any special characters, you will not get the output. You will get an error. So this is how it works. And this will not work, right? So I'm going to remove. So I will give you some cases, just check with it. First case will be working. First case will print the output called 4, but in this case I am giving count equals to 3, print underscore count. So guess the output. So in this case the output will be definitely 3. We'll see in the output while executing. Okay, now I'm going to give one more, count equals to 2, print 1 count. So now we'll see the output. Here it is invalid syntax as earlier like before. Now I'm making it as a comment. This 2 as comment. Now we'll see the output. 4 and 3 printed, right? So I'm going to give one more, like C2 equals to 5, print C2. Okay, so now we'll see the output. Let's see whether 5 is going to print or not. Okay, so it's printed. Why? Because whatever the variable you can initiate, but the thing is you should use underscore, and while starting the variable you should use the underscore and this letters like C or capital C or anything. And apart from that, if you use any other, it will show as an error while initiating the variable. After that, from second character onwards, you can start using any letter or anything. Okay, so this is how the variables we need to create. Hope you got an idea. And so here is a tip for you guys. Make your variable names descriptive so you know what data they are supposed to hold. This will save your time and headache as your code grows. What does it mean? Like, for example, the developers develop a code, and in that they should make sure that they are following the descriptiveness. Like, for example, while defining, they would be lot of variables while they're defining the variables, while they're running the program. They might be having lot of variables. In that case, they should use some descriptiveness, like they can use count 1, like count to, okay, count to, like this. If they are using like this while initiating the variable, in that case they will avoid the confusions. Okay, so for that it is like a tip for them and for you guys also in future. So coming to the terminology, defining or declaring or creating a variable, giving a variable name and an initial value. So defining in or declaring, in the sense you are declaring a variable with a value. You declaring in the sense you are in giving a value, you are assigning a value to the variable. That is nothing but declaring or defining or creating a variable. And assignment is nothing but the value that you are going to assigning to the variable is nothing but assignment. So that here the assignment number is 4. Okay, this is what the terminology. And for practice I am going to give you like you can have a lot of variables you can initiate. Try with it, try with different formats of initiating the variables, and you will get, and definitely you will get an idea. Okay, create a variable number and assign a value of 5, print the value of number. That's all. This is for the practice. So few things here you can try is I'm going to tell you this also. So here, for example, I'm removing all this. Okay, in this case I want you guys to understand it more briefly. So first thing, I'm going to give I equals to 1 and I equals to 3. Now print the value of I have to tell you one more thing so you will get an idea. So consider this as a box. Okay, so in this case I am making this 2 lines as comment. Just consider these 2 lines are not here. We are having only I equals to 1 and print I. Let's see what will be the output. So the output is, you can guess it. The output is 1. So right, okay. So now I'm removing this hash and I'm putting this comment, this as a comment, the 3rd line as a comment. Now we'll see the output. Okay, so the output is 2. Why it is 2? Here you might get a question why it is 2. The variable which you are defining here na, so in this case the variable will call the most recent value that you have assigned. So it will consider the most recent value you have assigned to I variable. So that's why it is considering the value called 2. So previously it considered the value 1 because it has only one variable and one value assigned to it. So what does it mean? The variable can change its value periodically while running of your program. Okay, so this is how the variable will work. So I'm removing this also. Let's see what will be the output. So as I said, the output should be 3, right? According to that logic, the output is 3. So it worked, it is 3. So for example, I'm taking j is equals to 4, j is equals to 5 and j is equals to, now we'll see. If you print you will get an error because I'll tell. Because here you have, here error in the sense a mistake. Here you are not able to print this variable. To print this variable you need to call it, right? So print j. So if you print it now it is going to print 3 and 5. So now I am going to change once again the value of j to 6. So now we'll see the output. So the output will be like 3 and 6. Okay, this is how it is working because the most recent value for I is 3. So that's why when you are calling with a print, we are getting 3. And the most recent value for j is 6. That's why we can print 6. Okay, this is how it works. And now let's go to another examples here. Assign different types of data to variables like strings, numbers, print them to see the output. So what it is saying is just assign different types of data to variables like strings, numbers. I will explain about everything, strings and numbers, everything in the upcoming videos. So far, string is nothing but without numbers. It is a string. Like your string is this value. So in parenthesis, you are giving this as a string. Okay. For example, if you were giving 4, this is number. Okay, this is what the difference I'm just telling for just you guys to know. And now what is the thing here? Assigning a string to a variable and printing it. So first thing, we are going to assigning a string ram. Okay, now I'm going to print it. So print name. So we'll see the output. So the output will be ram. Okay, and now this is, we played with string. Now let's play with age. So now age is equals to number, right? So age is nothing but number. So I'm giving it as 18, and I'm going to print print age, print a variable age. Now run it. So the output will be ram and 18. Okay, and I'm going to give number or id. id is equals to some 6.3 or something. So now I'm going to give print id. So we'll see the output. So this is how we play with the string and number and floating point number. So this is how it works with the variables. Hope you got an idea on variables. You can also have more examples for practice and do your own. Okay, let's see about other concepts in upcoming videos. Thanks for watching. Do subscribe.